Hello, Sophia Harris here, 𝒟ᴏ Global Consulting. And I recently did a case study review on Airbnb, and I have another one. I've gotten such tremendous feedback on that one, I thought I'd share another one briefly with you today. And so this one is a review of an interview with Michelle Gass, who is the CEO of Kohl's Retail. And she spoke about, in a podcast, a case study, she spoke about Kohl's strategic pivots during the early period of the pandemic. And some of the key takeaways, which I thought were quite similar to Airbnb's pivot strategy, was that her key priorities were communication, transparency, getting in front of the stakeholders, letting all key players, all interests know what was happening before they got carried away with the panic. Another was in terms of categories and envisioning what the world would look like at the other end of this pandemic. Once she was able to frame and envision the world post-pandemic to the best of her ability and scenario planning, she decided, okay, we're going to drop some categories. We're going to look at the data, see which business areas are performing, look at our consumer and target personas' new behaviors. And some key takeaways were a casual lifestyle. So she decided, okay, let's focus on not positioning Kohl's as a department store, because that in itself as a concept was becoming less relevant in a modern consumer's world. But to position Kohl's as the go-to place for families to meet all of their new casual lifestyle needs. And she thought this because when you look at the consumer locked indoors, social distancing, a lot of people working from home, adopting a more wellness-focused fitness regime at home. They're dressing more casually, they're focusing more on skincare, wellness. So she decided that Kohl's would focus on those key categories. So they developed their wellness, beauty, casual line, and they wanted to be the go-to place for the entire family to meet all of their casual lifestyle needs. They also pushed a partnership with Sephora because they understood that at the other end of this pandemic, experiential engagement such as retail physical store shopping was not going to go away. People were going to take a more omni-channel approach. They're more efficient when they can maybe order online, when time is of the essence, and pick up at the curb, or when they have the luxury of spending the day in store for that experiential shopping. And those of us who enjoy a little retail therapy, we know all about that. So for those who wanted to have those hours in the store looking at the racks, because it is a part of the experience that people love, and experiential investments are going to be relevant post-pandemic. So they invested in the Sephora partnership because they understood that Sephora was going to add to the in-store retail experience. So they did an omni-channel approach. Communication was big, scaling back where they didn't see the future trends going in those directions in certain categories, and enhancing categories that they believed would be relevant later on. Those were some of the key points. But she also spoke about the relevance of culture. And if it wasn't for the Kohl's culture, all of the transformation, digitalization, digital components, and empowerment of their pivot, all of the plans that were implemented would not have been successful had it not been for the culture. All hands on deck, everyone buy in. And she said a huge part of that was decisiveness, walking away from meetings with a clear decision. Now, in Jamaica, often in the Caribbean, sometimes we have analysis paralysis. We end a meeting pending someone bringing to the table more data. And she made a good point that oftentimes, over 90% of the time, the new data you're waiting on post-meeting is not going to change a decision, and decisions to be made swiftly in a crisis. That was also something that Airbnb CEO said, Brian Chesky. quick decisions, principle-based. You can't have all the data in a crisis. You need to focus on the most important data, look at the future behaviors, trends of your target persona, and make decisive decisions. Cut what you need to cut, invest in your key stakeholders. Communication is key. And also we know a Caribbean Achilles heel is transparency and communication. Not with everyone, but it has been a hindrance. So I thought I'd share this with you. I thought it was so insightful. If you ever want to talk to us about strategy, pivot strategy, digital marketing, e-commerce, business development, business plans, proposals, reach out to us anytime, ዄglobalconsulting.com. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Thank you for tuning in.